I'm resilient construction expert Eris Papadopoulos.
And I'm meteorologist Eric Salna.
And welcome to Built to Survive.
So this is a very unique program, Built to Survive. It's all here for you, the consumers, to teach you and to educate you as a consumer on how you can make your home more resilient to all the natural hazards, including hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, and fires.
Yeah, indeed. In a world full of hazards, we'll show you how you can improve your home's chance of survival. And if you're looking to buy a new home, why not buy a strong one? In today's program, we'll be talking about roofs. Because we know, Eric, when the roof fails, everything else fails.
Absolutely. And we're going to learn a lot about that today with our experts. We've got not just one, but two experts today. We have Julie Shiyu Woodard. She's the president of the consumer nonprofit Smart Home America. And then we're going to be talking to Todd Gress, and he's the owner of Sunbelt Roofing in Louisiana.
But before that, we'll quickly review 2022, a big year for disasters.
Yeah, it certainly was. There's 2022, unfortunately, and you'll be looking at a graphic from NOAA, and basically showed that there were $18 billion plus events in 2022 across the country. And unfortunately, we lost almost 500 lives, which made it the 8th worst on record.
Quite a year. The U.S. had over 200 billion in losses, almost 60% of the world's total. Mm-hmm. Insurance paid half, but guess who paid the other half? Homeowners, business owners, and taxpayers.
So do the math. That's $100 billion now that came out of our pockets. And you think of all the suffering involved with that, but bottom line, people lost their savings, their memories, and all the hard work of their lives.
Hurricane Ian was by far the biggest disaster, half of U.S. losses. But Ian also showed us that homes that were built to higher wind and flood standards survived better.
So what's been the impact to all of us as homeowners? Well, unfortunately, insurance rates now are quickly rising. And now many homeowners are discovering it's hard to find an insurance company that'll cover their home.
More than ever important, we strengthen homes. Insurers will be more willing to insure them, and owners will suffer less, both personally and financially. Or if you're moving, buy a strong home. It's the smart thing to do.
And that's one of the big purposes of our program, Built to Survive, making you smarter as a consumer and to guide all of us now on what we need to know to make our homes more able to survive.
Today, we'll be talking about roofs. Our first guest is Julie Shiyu Woodard, who has the nonprofit Smart Home America. Stay with us.
Well, welcome back. As we mentioned today, our topic on the show is roofs, and we have a couple of experts that we're going to be talking to. We're going to start off with Julie with Smart Home America. And Julie, we really thank you for your time to be on the program and talk about roofs. But in general, what are you doing with Smart Home America to be able to have homes in general survive?
We are very engaged at the local and state level in many different states that are trying to do things differently. So we help support from a technical perspective and an education outreach, education on building codes and how important they are, education on pieces of policy that help homeowners move in the right direction when making a decision to do something different to their home, and helping the builder and contractor community understand how to do things a little bit different than they've done in the past. And then just helping everybody understand how important insurance is as an actual economic resilience tool, because nobody really, I think, thinks about their insurance that way. And so we do a ton of education and outreach and a lot of technical support for local policy and state policymakers.
That's great to hear, Julie, and really appreciate the work you and your organization are doing. But tell our audience, why is the roof so important to a home's survival?
So the roof is that first line of defense against weather. And we really don't, most of us don't really think of our house in the sense that we think of our car. So we maintenance our car, we take it in for checkups, we polish it, we shine it. We really don't do those things with our home. And our roof and what covers our roof is truly the first line of defense against any kind of weather. And when you lose that roof covering, you're opening the opportunity for a lot more damage to be done. So there can be damage in a hurricane, tornado, straight line convective wind, derecho. But if you lose the roof covering, you're amplifying the amount of risk you've now opened yourself up to, because now your contents are at risk, right? So it's not just the outside of your house that protects your contents. You're now potentially letting a lot of water come in. And we don't think that way as homeowners. And when we buy a house, it has a roof on it. And we typically don't think about that roof until it starts doing annoying things like leaking or causing issues in the home. But the way that we look at roofs, but more importantly, the way the insurance industry looks at roofs has drastically changed over the last 5 years. And so it's important that your roof is working to its max capacity. If you have an older roof, if your roof is 15 years or older, definitely if you have a 25-year-old roof, it is probably really important that you consider re-roofing, because insurance is now looking at that roof as a significant risk to them when covering your property. And they want to know that they're writing a risk that they can maintain.
And, Julie, if you could help explain, the fortified program, but what makes a fortified roof better?
So the fortified program is a suite of programs that cover commercial, multifamily, single family residential, and it is a construction standard that comes out of the Insurance Institute for Business and Home Safety, or IBHS. They are a nonprofit that is 100% funded by the insurance industry. And their job, which is really cool, is to work in a research facility kind of in the middle of nowhere, South Carolina. And they build full-size structures and put up to Cat 3 wind and rain. They put hail storms and firebrand storms on these structures. And the fortified program really is, it's peril specific. So they have a hurricane standard, they have a high wind standard, they have a hail supplement that you can do anywhere, and they have a wildfire standard. And the reason for it is, how do we build a structure so that we know it's going to go through bad weather? Like, that's inevitable, right? We definitely know that every day now, right? We know that the weather can be really scary and severe. We know that damage can be done, but how do we build that building so it can take a pretty significant event, but still be occupiable quickly after that event? So there's damage to the outside, right? But you can still unlock that door, go in, and either stay there as a homeowner and start recovering and cleaning up, or as a business owner, get yourself back online as quickly as possible. So fortified is a standard that can be used, but fortified is an extra set of eyes, because there's an evaluator who's separate from the inspector from the city or the county, and they're paying attention to what's actually going on your roof and how it is going on your roof. So if you think of it in a consumer protection sort of way, there's this other person who's paying attention to the way your roof's going on, but they're documenting a lot of documentation. They're documenting what materials are being used. Are those materials appropriate for the wind zone that you're in? So are those materials tested and approved to perform like they're supposed to when you get a really significant weather event? Is it installed the way that it's supposed to be installed? A lot of roofs, most people don't know, are kind of out of warranty when that last shingle goes on, because if you just miss one nail or one nail shoots through, that roof's technically out of warranty, which means that if something goes wrong and you call that warranty in, it may not be valid. And so fortified's really double, triple, and like quadruple checking that things are done the way they're supposed to be done, and it's all documented. And then if everything meets that standard, you as a homeowner or a business owner will get a certificate that says this structure has a fortified roof. And what that means for you as a homeowner or a business owner is that, one, you should qualify for either better insurance, meaning that, let's just say you take your premium that you have today, you may have better coverage under that premium, or you may get a discount on that premium. And that's different in every single market. It's not guaranteed, but once you ask those questions, that can open those conversations with insurance. So it's a proved system. There's 20 some odd years behind the research. We've seen it perform amazingly in many different hurricane events and now some tornado events. So we know it works. It is like that much different from the way that most current codes ask you to roof a house. So the cost is not great. And it really sort of gives you a peace of mind that you may lose your shingles, but you are not going to have tons of water pouring into your house, soaking everything, and then you having to rip all that carpet out and put everything at the curb if you have that significant of a weather event.
That's great information. The better design, the inspection, and also you get a certificate that the insurance industry, the insurer, will recognize as something better that the house has. So let's assume I'm a homeowner. I may be in the central part of the U.S., tornadoes kind of going around me, haven't hit me yet. Or I may be along the coast and, I was pretty close to Ian or to one of the other storms. And I have a 25-year-old roof. What advice would you give to that homeowner?
Re-roof quickly. I would say, so I will absolutely plug Don't Goof When You Re-roof. That's one of our consumer-facing educational tools. I would say go to the smarthomeamerica.org website or to Don't Goof When You Re-roof and start getting quotes and bids. Always get 3 bids. Always check to see if that roofer is licensed in your state. We have a checklist to help you not experience fraud. And then when you get that roof redone, it's time to shop your insurance. So I would never say just get a roof. I'm always going to say every day, get a fortified roof. Roofers don't have to be specially trained to do this. IBHS basically has instructions of how to do that. Any roofer can read those standards and understand them. So I would say get a fortified roof and get that certificate in hand, and then shop your insurance. We have a tool for questions you should be asking your insurance agent. Even if that insurance agent's been your insurance agent for 30 years, we have questions you should be asking your insurance agent to make sure that you're getting the best coverage. So yeah, re-roof to the fortified standard, shop your insurance.
Well, Julie, this has all been incredible information. We can't thank you enough. Doing great work with Smart Home America. Really appreciate your time on the program. And coming up, we're now going to be talking with our next roofing expert, and that is going to be Todd Gress. He's the owner of the Louisiana-based Sunbelt Roofing, and he'll be joining us shortly. So stay with us.
Welcome back to Built to Survive. Today we're talking about roofs. Todd, welcome to the show. Appreciate the time you're taking out from your busy day. Tell us first about yourself, your company, and how you got involved with fortified roofs.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for having me. Kind of a lifelong work of always trying to build better equipment, better practices, even above code. And with roofing, same endeavor and kind of vision to give a homeowner the best quality. My philosophy is use good materials, install it well, and most likely you're going to get the best overall end result. So that really led me in discovering the fortified method. It aligns so strongly with my overall philosophy. And I said, this is great for the homeowner. People need to know about this, and just kind of jumped off the deep end and learned everything I could about it and got into the marketplace. Really in a mindset to better help customers and homeowners understand why resilient in doing above code roof and how it can benefit them.
And Todd, yeah, if you could explain a little bit more then for homeowners and why you would suggest that they install a fortified roof.
So yeah, great question. I get that question multiple times a day. And there's a lot of misinformation, confusion, and they're trying to really sort out, is this good for me? Why is it good for me? So we educate homeowners firstly about the advantages. Most of them think of the, hey, it's going to save me money on my homeowner's insurance, right? Here in Louisiana, after multiple storms, many insurance carriers left the state, and people have, and I'm sure events in Texas, and you see some of the news in Florida, the insurance carriers just can't afford to do business there. So, right, it costs them a lot of money when they have large payouts. And again, Fortified was developed through an effort within the insurance industry to make a more resilient roof, right? How can they help mitigate total payouts? And when they see roof blow off, essentially, water intrudes into the home, and that's where claim costs go up significantly. So from their side, they're like, what can we do, build better to help mitigate total payouts? That's not only good for the insurance company, that's good for the homeowner, right? We have a high need and very expensive homeowners insurance, Louisiana, across the coast, and other states, right? And to afford the insurance, people take a 5% deductible on the value of that insurance. And some of them think it's 5% of the claim. It's 5% of the value of their home. So when you think in terms of a $400,000 or $500,000 home, and they've got, $20,000 deductibles, and you get repetitive events year after year or every few years, families simply cannot afford to even pay the deductible, right? So how do you budget for that? So if you can mitigate the risk of ever even having to go out of pocket on that first $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 before insurance even kicks in, that's very helpful for them, right? Then secondarily, if I do a better roof, I've mitigated that risk, but now the insurance companies know it's good for them too, so they offer a discount. So essentially, the method of installing a fortified roof is mitigating risk through secondary water barriers, just doing a better roof overall, and it reduces the likelihood that the homeowner is going to have to pay the deductible. They're going to have a very, very high claim value because water intruded, damaged wood floors, personal belongings, sheetrock, all of that. So there's many, many advantages. In addition to typically in hurricanes, and I'm sure with tornadoes and roofs get ripped off, water intrudes, people get displaced from their home. So the life interruption, right, to move their family across town, live in an apartment because their home's uninhabitable. The process of getting that repaired and moving back in could take 6 months, 12 months, right? Maybe even longer, especially with hurricanes down here. There's thousands of homeowners in the same situation. They're all looking for temporary housing, FEMA trailers, and then getting contractor availability to make those repairs. That can be a very long and many times a traumatic, life-altering event, right? And it costs them a lot of money. Getting their kids to school from 10 miles away, getting to work, dealing with contractors, right? It's just a traumatic event for everybody, not good for the insurance company, not good for the homeowner. So what can we do to mitigate all that? I see those reasons as more compelling than just, hey, I'm going to save $1,000 a year by getting an insurance discount. But generally, that's their initial interest, right? Hey, if I spend a little more to put a better roof on, what are my immediate advantages? How much am I going to save on my insurance? And to me, that's more secondary than all the other benefits.
Yeah, so important to have a strong roof. We saw that during Hurricane Ian. The homes that were built to the higher standards, those are the ones that typically survived. So very important points. Appreciate that, Todd. But tell us, let's say I'm a homeowner shopping around for a roof. What kind of differences would I see in the cost and the warranty, let's say, between a conventional kind of code minimum roof and a fortified roof?
Homeowners want to know that. Generally, it's about 20 to 30% more to do a fortified roof than a non-fortified. I wouldn't say that material wise, when you speak of warranties, that's not going to change the shingle manufacturer's warranty, right? But when you think in terms of a warranty of peace of mind, that you've mitigated that risk down significantly, right? So you don't specifically get a guaranteed warranty anymore with a fortified roof as you do the likelihood that you've mitigated all the risks, if that makes any sense. So shingle warranties don't change. From me as an installer, I can warranty my workmanship essentially for an extended period of time, right? Some of them say 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, but all of them have disclaimers except for named storms, right? Most homeowners don't understand that. Well, I got a warranty. All the shingle manufacturers, right? They just can't be responsible for an EF2 or, tornado or a major hurricane, right? Those are acts of God. But again, knowing that you put the best roof on possible, and a number that comes out of the fortified organization, 70 to 90% of all insurance claims involve the roof nationwide. So then you think of more tornado prone or hurricane prone areas. I'm thinking we're closer to 90%.
Mm-hmm.
So warranties, I wouldn't say, but just longevity expectations are going to be good. Or specifically with the fortified program, that designation stands for 5 years. And then upon a reinspection, right, did they make any additions or alter the home at all? Was there any physical damage to it? And generally not, right? But then basic fee, I think the current going right now is about $100 for a fortified certified evaluator to come inspect that roof, sign a piece of paper. They renew that designation for another 5 years, which goes to the insurance carrier. So they should maintain their discounts from their homeowner's insurance for another 5 years. So that kind of overlays with warranty. But again, the financial gain can get renewed or extended.
So as you go through the whole process, Todd, what would you say are some of the top questions or concerns homeowners typically have?
Great question. Why does it cost more? So we're putting more materials and more labor and work into that home. For instance, many roofers in a lot of areas, somebody wants a new roof, they go tear the shingles off, leave the old felt in place, put new, maybe synthetic felt over the old felt, nail the shingles on, say there's your new roof. That's kind of industry standard. We're actually going to strip that to the deck, ensure that they have a solid wood deck, right? Change any batted, rotted wood they may have. So we prep the deck. We actually are going to re-nail that entire deck on every rafter here in the hurricane zone, every 4 inches on center with a very specific ring shank nail. So the first mindset is make sure that deck will not blow off that house, right? Shingles don't matter if the whole decking blows away. We're going to seal that roof deck, and there's a couple different techniques. We can put a self-adhered or a peel and stick seam tape on every joint of the plywood, or we can use a full ice and water shield and put a whole peel and stick self-adhered membrane on the whole deck, which is ideal, right? So again, we re-nailed it, we document that, then we seal the roof deck, and then even the drip edge, which some roofers just don't think is a big deal, but the most vulnerable parts are the edges, right? So we put a method of putting a much larger drip edge on, and we even nail that drip edge every 4 inches. Right, that holds down the underlayment. It's just a more secure way to do it. And then secondary, we use high-end felt, meeting certain ASTM specs with a very specific nail pattern, right? And then the perimeter has to be sealed on top of that. And you can use a self-adhered starter strip, which costs more than standard. Or what I prefer to do, which I think is ultimately the best, is we use a roofing mastic or plasticized roofing cement basically on the entire perimeter of that, and then the matching manufacturer's starting shingle that matches that shingle brand gets embedded in that cement and then nailed in. And then traditionally the shingles go on the same as other. We use 6 nails per year. So
the
you've got
important thing,
redundant layers.
Yeah, the important thing is you've got a clear specification, you know, and
Absolutely.
it's inspected, and that way, you know, you have the quality and the workmanship and the proper design because it's specified, and the consumer knows they're paying for something much better, something
Absolutely.
that their home will survive with.
Right.
Todd, can't express how much we appreciate you being here and telling us about these things. Best luck in what you're doing there in Louisiana, and hopefully we'll see more of your work. You know, be safe in your daily work. I'm sure you follow that. Thank you.
Pleasure being with you guys, and just kind of as a closing thought with this fortified system, starts with the roof, but they actually have a method to fortify your entire home that
Exactly.
makes a lot of sense as well.
Exactly.
So again,
Very
thank you
important to
for
know.
having me. Let me know if I can
Appreciate
help.
it, Todd. Well,
Yeah.
thank you
Thank you.
again very much. So coming up next, we're going to kind of recap and summarize what we've learned on today's program. And we're going to check in with Uncle Rezi again, what he has in terms of wisdom on roofs.
Great to have both Julie and Todd, our two experts, with us today to talk about roofs. Let's see, what did we learn? You know, one thing that I've learned is if you take care of your roof will take care of you. You know, today in our homes, we've got home theater systems, we've got energy efficient appliances, some of us even have solar panels. But if that roof is weak, everything could end up in the landfill.
And, you know, we learned from Todd that he mentioned that statistics 70 to 90% of all claims are to the roof, right? So that's just about all the claims. So it shows that importance of we need to have a strong roof.
You know, families deserve better than a minimum code roof. Plus, they save money and they can get insurance. And the house, I think Julie alluded to, will be worth more whenever they plan to resell it.
Right. You have to think not only short term, but long term. And as Julie said, you know, when you don't goof when you re-roof, and that means some homework, but it means making a good choice. And we learned a lot about that fortified program, how valuable it is. The quality of a fortified roof pays for itself in the long run. It's really a smart way to go.
Exactly. It's a standard that the insurance industry has developed. So it's not a one company's product. You know, they are training contractors around the country to be able to do things right, to use that standard, to use the right materials, and they have inspectors then checking the quality. And based on that certificate, their insurance companies in many states are giving discounts. So it's a win-win for everybody. I mean, I would not go without a fortified roof if I was redoing my roof.
Absolutely, absolutely. So also now we want to see what Uncle Rezi says about roofs as well. A lot of wisdom with Uncle Rezi.
Yeah, as our audience may know, Uncle Rezi is an illustrated educational series by the nonprofit Resilience Action Fund. Uncle Rezi is helping his nephew's family build a house. And the house is somewhere in the central part of the U.S. He's saying he wants a heavy tile roof, and he wants it specified at least at 135 miles an hour, which unfortunately most of the codes today only ask for 110 or 115, and these are the latest codes.
So Uncle Rezi wants something that's code plus, stronger, more resilient, right, to withstand the next hazard.
Exactly. Well, thank you for being with us today. Making your home stronger is probably the best investment we all can make.
Absolutely, and that's, again, why we're here with the Built to Survive program, to just all of us to learn what we can do to make our homes more resilient to the next natural hazard.
Stay safe.
Yep, and stay resilient until we see you next time.